welcome back to my channel. It's Ren. On the way in, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. It's the easiest and the freest way to support your girl, so go ahead, get the clicking below. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, specifically you. I'd like to talk about something that at one point used to really annoy me, to be quite honest. And that was the concept of having to stroke the male ego. That's something that I honestly found very annoying, and it's not because I have a problem, bigging up somebody or whatever the case is. It was something that I would always question, like, why do men need to be handled so delicately? Like, why do you have to stroke their egos? Why do you have to be careful to not hurt their egos? Why do you have to do all of this stuff? Meanwhile, they're beating their chest every chance they get, just leaving bodies behind them. It never made sense to me that why do I have to do all this in order to keep a man happy? Like, he's not doing the same in return. And to me, women are the ones who need compliments. Women are the ones who need to feel like they're pretty, feel like they're doing, like, it's like you got to treat men like puppies. Like, oh, good job, good boy. And it's just like, why do I have to do all of that? Why do I have to do all that? Like, it used to annoy my soul. And I can't lie, it's something that I actually learned to embrace. And that's honestly the theme of what I wanted to talk about today, is embracing and not tolerating. Because the moment that we feel like we have to tolerate something, that's honestly more on the lower vibrational spectrum of how we could feel about things. And so when you're tolerating something, it doesn't typically feel good. How many things do you tolerate that you're like, oh yeah, this is great? Very few, if any. I can't think of anything that I personally tolerate. It's typically something that I would prefer to do without. Now, when you change your thought process and slide it over to embracing, then you have much better experiences within it. And as I mentioned, I've never had problems like bigging up my man, at least this one, because it's easy to do. With like my ex and stuff, or like with other men, it's just like, I'm not in the business of making nobody feel good for poops and giggles. And I know that sounds a little messed up, but it's just like, I'm not just gonna go out of my way to make you feel like you that dude when you're average at best. As Kevin Samuels would have said, like, you're average at best. And it's like I feel like men already live in a very delusional world, and I think that, like, they're honestly amazing manifestors because of that. And I think that's a great skill to have, to be quite honest. It was something that I felt like, I don't care, like, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But sometimes you just come across somebody who makes it easy and makes you realize that it's not even as big of a deal as you made it seem, because all these things are true. So it's like, I'm not gonna say anything about somebody if it's A, not true, or B, not necessary. So yeah, so it was just one of those things where it's just like, I'm not doing it, like, and I don't care how you feel about it, and it is what it is. Like, I don't boost egos for fun. This is something and I still don't, to be quite honest. Like, if a compliment's due, I'll give a compliment. But now with women, it's a free-for-all. Like, it's like, girl, you're beautiful. I don't know, I'm a girl's girl, so the moment I see a girl just doing her thing, it's like, yes, girl, go ahead. But with men, it's just like, yeah, you're supposed to be. Which may be like, what's that called? A double standard, but they just exist out in the world. So it is what it is. That was just truly how I felt and how I operated. I've learned to embrace the things that I disliked about the dynamics between men and women. This actually can blanket across all kinds of subjects in life. And so when we take off the toleration hat and put on the hat of embracing, we actually can find the bright sides of things, because they exist everywhere. They exist literally everywhere. In everything, in every situation, there's always a bright side, because things could always be worse. Always. So it's like, let's just embrace the bright side so that we can bring more of that toward us. Like, let's just call that in. I think, per usual, a lot of things that I come on here and say, they're all easier said than done. But if you find yourself having a hard time with stroking the male ego just because, then honey, we're in the same boat. Or we were once in the same boat, because that was me as well. Now I've actually embraced stroking the male ego because it comes with perks. And the moment that you realize that, you're not even being manipulative, but you're just really stacking the odds in your favor. Things that I've learned from stroking the male ego, and like I say, for valid reasons. It's not just a compliment fest or, oh, and you're so amazing fest. I mean, we do that a lot in our home. We're unusually grateful, and I can't say unusually, but we are more grateful than most, as far as the sharing on how much we adore each other and all the members of the family. It's not just the romantics, but between us and our children, and the children between each other, the children to us to the children, all of the different ways. So we're really big on sharing our love for each other. But I think when it comes to stroking the male ego, it really does work in your favor. For example, the moment that you stroke a male's ego, even if it's something that is very simple that can be done, things that, you know, I would not get a cookie for because, you know, it's just what I'm supposed to do. When you do that for the male, it actually gives them like the okay, I want more of that, so I'm gonna do more of that type of response. So, like, for example, if your man helps you clean the kitchen, you share with him, oh, I love how much you, like, I love when you help me clean the kitchen. Like, I just appreciate that so much. It makes me feel like, it makes me fall more in love with you every day. Now, next thing you know, you walk in, he already halfway through, and it's like, oh, thank you, baby, you're so helpful. And it's like, they eat it up. And it's cute. But it's effective. And so it's like, it's not always like you're going, it's not like you're doing it to get this response, but oftentimes it's just the byproduct of that kindness that you can offer, because you really do appreciate the help. So it's not like you're lying. You're not saying it just to get him to help you, but you really do appreciate it. So, and maybe that's the example I use, because my love language is acts of service. So when you do that, like, I'd rather you come help me with something or take over something, take something off of my plate any day over you, like, you know, buying me a gift or something like that. Gifts are great and all, but I'd rather you just do something for me. I'm more experiences versus a material person. So that's that. But it's not all bad. It's not all bad. And you can find yourself in much more juicy situations and experiences with your partner, especially a healthy masculine man, when you're kind of just it's crazy, because I used to feel like, why do we have to baby these men? Like, this is why they act how they act, because we gotta baby them. But it's just like, it's a little bit more broad than that. And so it does feel like that with the wrong man. That's what I did learn. Like, with the wrong guy, it's kind of like, no thanks, like, yeah, do it. I used to be terrible, y'all. Like, I used to be so emasculating, it's ridiculous. Like, I really did. And it wasn't like it was anything intentional, but it was just like, either it's gonna be this or you can go. And he never chose to leave. So it's like, all things we both needed to heal from. If I was to give 3 simple ways to learn to embrace rather than tolerate stroking the male ego, I would say, look at it through a lens of love. Because just think how good it feels when you get random compliments. Just think how good it feels when you get admiration and confirmation that somebody likes what you're doing. It feels good. It's not hard to pass that along, when it's like, okay, I love when I get that, so yeah, let it be like a gift from me to you. Like, that's a really good way to fall into embracing it rather than tolerating it. Because once you realize the gift that brings, it becomes the gift that keeps on giving. Because like I mentioned, it makes them want to do whatever it is more. So that helps you out as well a lot of the time. So that's number 1. Number 2, I would say, understand how the male mind works. And I hate to say it like this, but a lot of times they really are like puppies, like dogs, like toddlers, to be quite honest. And it's no shade to them, but it's really like, and granted, I have 4 toddlers at home, and so it's like seeing how excited they get when I'm like, oh wow, you did great, look how you put your clothes back in that drawer. Like, they get so excited. It's like, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but with men, it's a lot of the same. But it's the same with me too. So it's like when he gives me a compliment, I'm just like, I'm eating it up inside, like, yay, like, yes. So it's the same for them. It's like, just because they're a man doesn't mean that you can't give them those little moments to feel giddy about. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all human. And so the things that light you up also can light him up. Just because he's a man and he may not express it in the same way, it still feels the same on the inside. So give those little nuggets to him, because I mean, that honestly will help bring more intimacy into your relationship, more trust, more bonding, and he'll be more quick to open his heart to you. Like, literally just wide open, the vulnerability, the wallet, all kinds of things. And so yeah, just kind of find your way to make him feel good, because let him know that what he's doing you enjoy. So that helps everybody the same way it helps you when he lets you know. Do it back. And the last way that I'm going to give today of how to embrace rather than tolerate stroking a man's ego is just understanding that when it comes to your femininity, it's a bonus, because it's strengthening your feminine influence. Okay, remember that all the things that you do in life, you're either for you or against yourself. And so let's just continue to work smarter and not harder, and stop stacking the odds against us, and make sure that we stack the odds in our favor. So those are my tips on learning to embrace rather than tolerate. And honestly, like I mentioned, this can blanket over all kinds of areas, but in this specific video, I am referencing relationships, specifically to the male. Oh, also, I have a free resource in the description box below, so check that out. It's the free Goddess Glow Up Guide, and it will take you down some activities to embody your divine self. And so basically, it's a lot of self-love enchantment, and that's what I'm here for all the way, because it's honestly the base of everything you need when it comes to elevating your life, elevating your experience. If you want to go a little bit deeper, I also have my passion pages. This is a workbook dedicated to magnetism, so it'll help you go through and unpack some things, embody some things. There's activities inside, prompts, and a nice blueprint of how to move forward within your journey. So check those out if you are feeling so inclined to, and let me know what you think below. If you made it to the end, go ahead, leave me some bubbles and some balloons, some balloons and some bubbles, and I appreciate it. So as always, give me that hand. We got things to do. Let's go.